Hello, all, and welcome to the next episode of the Draft That Is. Now, almost every week we've kind of had a little bit of a different setup, which is good and exciting, and this week is no different. Got myself, Angus, running the show today, and with me, there's no Nick Capamola. He's had a little dinner. I think he's been a bit of a wom. I don't really know, but I'm just going to assume. We've got the coach of the Hazardous Donkeys, Nick Lee. Welcome to the potty.
Thank you, Angus. I'm honoured to be here in place of Kappa. I know he's hard at work on the beers tonight, so we might try and get him in a bit later for a bit of input.
Yeah, we'll try and do a bit of a rope in, get him on the mic. We'll see how we go. We'll see if he's still awake, because I know he's had a few frothies, and he wouldn't make the effort to come down here. So, which is probably fair enough. It's good. Don't drink and drive, everyone.
It hasn't stopped him before, but you
know. All right, now let's get into some action. Well, let's go through what happened last week. Now, first cab off the rank. While my internet loads, come on Nick-Lee's internet. Thanks for having us, Nick-Lee. Thanks for having us.
You're welcome.
We're looking at the first matchup of the week. Now, Nick, run us through Kappa versus Luca Island.
Well, we knew that Cap had been quite active in the trade world the last few weeks, so it's kind of no surprise that he's roped Steve into a few rubbish trades, got the better of that. So it's no surprises that he comes up with a massive score, with even an underwhelming captaincy of Clayton Oliver. So I think it's kind of him really now. 3-0 is the only undefeated team in the league, I think. Maybe, yes, he is.
That's
only undefeated
huge.
team in the league, and as we kind of discussed this week, finals is probably 6 or 7 wins. So he's well on his way to establishing himself as a pretty big player come Supercoach September.
It definitely shows what trades can do and what being active in the league can lead to. And I know he's pretty proud of himself about this. He was reeling off some stats to me the other day, and I'm sure he messaged you the same thing. Did he flick you his draft capital that he had and he has now?
I think he sent me a subtle reminder that a fair few of his players are in the top,
we're looking at Nick.
Very specific top 63 listing.
Yeah, we're looking at Nick Lee's messages here, and I got the exact same thing, and I'm sure there's more. I'm sure Jake probably would have got something like this as well. Let's not give him
the time of day. He doesn't want to be here tonight to talk himself through it.
He wanted us to call him at this point of the night. Yeah. So he can talk his team up, but fuck him, we're going to get him for something much more exciting a bit later if he answers, which he hopefully will. Luke Island put up not the best of scores, had a few on the bench. He's got some selection headaches that he's got to sort out. Not the only one in the league, but
Harry is a big shaker and mover of gaining assets and then shipping them off. You've seen in the last few weeks, I think he traded Cornelio. He traded Cornelio for maybe Dane Beams and Tim Taranto.
I didn't even play him. Yeah. He trades for him, plonks him on the bench, and he puts up 112.
Sit in the twos, Timmy.
Mate, if you're going to trade for him, you better fucking play him.
Tell you what, though, you're welcome, Harry. That Brad Crouch trade is looking pretty good for you from the start of the year, so I'll let you have that.
114 points. That's not too bad. We'll move on to the next game.
The hard-fought battle of who is under 1,000.
Sub 1,000 battle. And to be fair, it's 999.
Doesn't matter. Not 1,000. And in fairness, few injuries don't go their way, and really shake your team up a little bit.
I think it was very stiff on Who's Your Daddy. He had his captain went down. Yeah. That is a huge issue. That hurts when your captain goes down.
It does. When he goes down as hard as Nat Fyfe did as well. It'll be interesting to see if he gets back up this week.
Yeah, I don't think he.
But Matt, as we'll discuss later, has pulled the trigger and just decided to move him on, which is a huge play.
Yes. Now looking at good scores, Matt Crouch, another Crouch, and Ben McAvoy there for Polf.
Also had Rockcliffe's 36 on the field.
Yeah.
Which you know, after back-to-back, I think 140s for Rockcliffe, I think he copped a head knock.
Yeah, but so it wasn't. You know, there was some solid performances there for Who's Your Daddy. Howe 103, Rich 101. That's what you want out of your backline.
It is. You know, that's how I kind of built my team based on, you know, those that are reliable and consistent. And granted, some weeks that it's going to let you down. They'll have, you know, the boys will be a bit flat. But for the most part, if you can kind of just have those consistent sort of numbers, then you'll be in pretty good stead. It'll get you a few wins on the board.
Yeah, exactly. Now, next matchup, Tipping Them In versus the Mumford Sausages. Hendricks is in a bit of a rough patch, not putting up points. 1,032. It's not that great. Mumford Sausages, on the other hand, into third place with 1,137.
Yeah, you know, Tyler was always, I think, going into the draft, there were probably 4 guys that I had thought had probably done a decent amount of research. You know, Kappa being number 1, Tyler, Jake, and probably myself. You know, we all went into the draft with pretty set game plans, and, you know, Tyler taking Lloyd I think it was his first pick, actually, and, you know, he's been rewarded with that.
Absolutely. That's a big, strong performer in your back line, really. So, and absolutely. As your captain, we got 130 points from the back. Huge.
You know, Kane Lamon's not going to give you that every week.
140 points.
You know, Mitch Duncan, I have been trying to haggle Tyler into giving me him. He won't budge because, you know, he's going to be putting up those kind of anywhere between like your 105, 115 for the rest of the year. I reckon. Like, I'm a huge Mitch Duncan fan, so Tyler, I'll continue to try and get him.
Yeah, fucking hell, Mitch Duncan. That Geelong crew getting it done, but Selwood 46, that's fucking stinky.
Yeah, I don't know about Selwood's role.
But how
in the team.
about let's just have a little bit of squiz at the old bench of Tipping Them In.
He's done it again, has he?
150 from Liberatore. Isaac Smith, 118.
It's a bit, you know, it's a bit unlucky. You want to field, you know, the guys that you're most confident in. But, you know, Libber's last 2 weeks probably, I'd say, Warren, I don't know if you traded him or not, but
I think he's still got him. There's been a bit of movement with the Tipping Them In.
Yeah, probably warrants a spot in the starting, was it 14 or whatever it is on our field.
It's not many. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I'm not going to count it. But it's not many.
Yeah.
All right. Jake, you know what I just realised? We played each other this week.
We did.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to that matchup.
Like I said, boys were a bit flat.
Gresham the Goat versus JTFC. Jake Taylor just getting his first loss of the season. This is an absolute barn burner. This was probably the game of the week. Absolute barn burner. Came down to the last week. You were needing Gresham to put up a decent score in the last game of the week, and he fucking delivered.
Steve really relying on that Gresham the Goat principle.
Hey, it got the job done.
Him, you know. And, you know, in fairness to him, he pulled Boak out of a trade last week with Kappa, and he's just said, I'm just going to plonk the captaincy on him. So that also is very much rewarded him.
That is a huge score. They're 2 decent scores from these boys. They're looking nice and strong. Caniglio, decent score from him. Grundy, 132. He's proving his worth. Heaney was the big bounce back.
He was back this week. It was good to see him, you know, kind of find some form because I think a lot of super coaches, both in draft and classic, were a little bit worried about Isaac, but, you know, he's come back. He's bounced back quite well, so I think we can kind of expect him to, you know, lift in the next kind of few weeks. I think Sydney have a pretty decent run in the next couple, so hopefully if he performs, he's going to, you know, be a massive boost to Jake's team.
Exactly. So both teams now sitting on 2-1, sitting comfortably. You'd expect them to make finals. We'll talk about finals a bit later on when we got some bit of info about that from the week from Kappa. So we'll chat about that a bit later. The next game, I mean, we won't touch on this much because I mean, Liam, Liam's team just absolutely smack killer.
That's what happens when you auto draft a team and you kind of
It's-
put not a lot into it. You're going to have those issues. But in fairness to Andy, he's tried to rebuild
I don't think he has.
a little bit.
He's made a few trades because people have been getting in his ear, and all his fucking data. He hasn't picked up one player off the waivers, really. He hasn't fucking. Andy, lift your fucking game. Pull your finger out of your ass. After the week, waivers are important. There's people getting waivers. He's got first waiver priority. He's not picking up anybody. He could pick up any player he wants on waivers, and he's not doing it. So it's I reckon he's got a little bit of work to do. He'll come good, but he just needs to bloody pull his finger out and put a bit of effort in.
He does.
But Liam's team put up, and even if he had scored a decent score, he wouldn't have won this game. Liam's team and it's his first win of the year, and he comes out and absolutely.
He's come and he's really announced himself. Your Dalhouse, he looks like he's back. Loving footy, being home in Geelong. Kennedy's putting up some good numbers again. McRae had 7 points at quarter time, and has ended up with that huge
150 from Whitfield,
yeah.
130 from Robinson.
130 from Higgins.
He's putting up some absolute numbers, and
whether they do it every week though is you can't expect that, but it's good to. When you win, you win and you get them on the board. But I think we get to the last game of the of the round.
And what a cracker!
That was Angus and myself.
How's the Songies vs I Love Football?
I put up the top score last week, and like I said, when you draft on reliability and consistency, I think I drafted guys based on they played 22 games last year and they had decent scores, but. Every few weeks they're going to be a bit flat, and that really, I think I had 2 players over 100 for the week, and still side bottom. I benched him because 2 shit weeks from Steele told him to sit on the pine, and
he hurt ya.
He did hurt me.
He hurt ya.
He did.
When you draft him up there, you just gotta back him.
Yeah, I still will try and
You wouldn't have won either way.
No,
my team.
Neil is.
I'll tell you my drafting principle: get Lockie Neal. Yeah. That's all I thought when I went into the draft day.
He's really proven himself to be a star of the competition. My God! You'd pretty much expect him to be on a 9 Brownlow votes.
177.
Yeah, you're never going to win when your opposition has put that on.
I'll tell you what, and just highlighting my little waiver pickups. Darcy Tucker, 109.
I wasn't expecting that.
100.
I looked at the quarter time scores and Jack Martin was on 50 and I was like, oh, here we go.
And you guys are giving me shit because I'm picking up people off the waivers and I'm fucking putting up hundreds.
They're not going to do it every week though, Angus. That's what you have to understand.
Hey,
but,
We'll see.
We will.
That's a good win to get off the board.
I was, a lot of last week's podcast did tip me to be 3-0, but unfortunately, just one of those weeks cost me what should have been a free win. But I think I've got Pulp this week, so he's sitting second, so it should be a pretty good matchup there. But we'll get into them later.
So top team of the week, no surprises. Kappa. Look, he's more than happy to talk up his own team. So if you want to know how he got his 1200, just go ask him. He'll happily write you a little essay. He's got that saved in his notes.
Yeah,
all I have to do is copy paste this. He's
just clicking forward message, and he may as well just put it in the group by this stage.
Yeah, I reckon. Just chuck it in the group, Capo. No one gives a shit.
Yeah, but you'll just expect those sorts of numbers. Like he's got a very, very good team. There is no doubt about it. And
he's worked hard about it. He's worked hard. He's getting the rewards.
He spends a lot of time crunching numbers. And
what else does he do with his day?
I'm not sure.
Because he
messages me when I'm at work about Supercoach, and I love to entertain the conversation, but it's a bit hard sometimes.
You send him a message, you give him a hint that you're thinking about Supercoach at the time, and he'll know, and he'll just send you a messesse because he just has this little feeling that you're thinking about Supercoach, and whack, he's smack on you, and giving you his 2 cents on what you think you should do.
Yeah.
All right, bottom team of the week. I mean,
I don't
Shield
even give it
Killer.
to.
It's no
I don't know
surprise.
if we can give it to him anymore.
It's Shield Killer. Andy, I don't. Andy's not listening to this.
He's not.
He's not listening to
Who
this.
will be listening to it? It will be Matt, and I think he was the second lowest. So, Matt, for when you listen to it, rough. But big move in the trades this week. So I know you're away for the next couple, so it'll be interesting to see how your team holds up in the next 3-ish weeks. But
yeah, well, he's made some moves that might save him a little bit for short term. We'll get into that a bit later. But now we're looking for the waivers. So the waivers, the blokes that put some waiver bids on and picked up a few players throughout the week. So I think there's 3 it's like the Wednesday or the Tuesday morning.
Tuesday morning, Thursday morning, and like Saturday morning for those guys that haven't played or something. I don't know how it works, but I just know it's a really inconvenient time. 4 a.m. on a morning is not something I'm looking at.
And so now we'll look at the process waivers from this week. Surprisingly, I think I was about the 4th or 5th waiver selection, but I got the first one. So there's a few blokes, Harry, Andy, Nick, Liam, who had an opportunity to put some players on the team and just decided that they'd sit back and not do it.
Which is fair if they're happy with it, then there's no real need. Like, waivers won't get you everywhere, but they, as both Kappa and myself have kind of learned, that they can be kind of decent in trade value.
I've learned that waivers are fucking great, and I just picked up Jezza Cameron. Jeremy Cameron. He is just gonna. What did he score on the weekend? 160, you said?
160. He played against a no-man defence of Richmond, so he's got the Cats this week. So that'll be interesting to see how he gets on.
Out goes Deledio. Ricky Henderson for Tomlinson. Now, everyone was a bit scared of Henderson after the first week. No one wanted to take a little risk on him, even though he was the top scoring player out there. He backs it up.
He does.
With another 100-plus point effort, and Gresham the Goat goes out and nabs him. I don't mind it.
In fairness, when you're kind of dropping Adam Tomlinson, who's,
Yeah, you got to take these risks. You look at it and you go, oh, why would they drop him? But you look at, why would you pick him up? But you look at who they dropped him for, and you may as well.
Yeah, you may as well when there's a chance. I got rid of Rory Lobb. He's just, not doing much for me. Thought I'd, take a chance on Marshall as a bit of bench cover because he's playing, that kind of number 1 ruck role at St Kilda at the moment. He's keeping Billy Longer out of the team, and so I think he's had 2 112 pluses, so he's looking all right. But it'll just be, I don't think he's going to see a lot of game time for me. But if he continues to prove his worth, then he might
be
a
handy
chance.
Asset.
Yeah, absolutely.
We've also got Johannesson for Short, Jake Taylor. I think Short hurt himself.
He did. I don't know when Johannesson's back. Maybe soon, maybe not soon. I can't remember when I last looked at the injury list and how far away he was. But long run, I think Jake is very much looking at long term at the moment.
Yeah, he is, isn't he? He sees himself in a very good spot.
Yeah,
he's making some moves.
Look at his bench. He's got Tui waiting to come back. He's now got Johannesson waiting to come back. So. Not a bad little option there.
Then the Sosso's made a couple of moves. In comes Rampy and Parrish. Out goes Scully and Cochin. Now, I know you got some words to say about Scully.
I had a message from one Tyler Bradley on the 1st of April, so what's that, 9 days ago, telling me, quote, going to take a punt on Tom Scully. Didn't pay off, and he's dropped him this week, so...
Good on you, Todd. It's fair enough. Good to take a punt. Darcy Parish comes in.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how Parish goes now that he's playing there. And then the other waiver that hasn't come up here, I think, was Pulf just getting rid of Darcy Moore.
Both got rid of Darcy
Well,
Moore.
I think so. That's coming up on the waiver list. Not sure what's going on there.
Oh,
But,
so that's in the free agent pool, is it? So he's dropped Darcy Moore already.
yeah.
So who did you pick up?
I don't know.
Yeah,
Doesn't
right.
come
I might get
up.
myself a little bit of Darcy Moore.
If you want average players, then sure, Angus.
Oh,
Angus Hagen.
I don't mind him. All right.
And then we got
Here we go.
a few big trades this week.
The trades. Trade time.
So I started off with Pulp. I kind of, after Westhoff's shit of the last 2 weeks, have cracked it and Seb Ross, in fairness.
The Hoff. I'll tell you what. He came out firing the Hoff, and you went, what a good pick.
He beat Tyler by himself, so I was happy with that. But so I was looking for a ruckman. Pulp had Mumford sitting on his bench. I had McCluggage sitting on my bench. Ross wasn't really performing for me. And
Brody Smith doing a heap. So
Yeah.
it's a bit of a nothing trade, isn't it?
Yeah, it's kind of, I'm servicing needs and Pulp's getting a little bit of value there. So, and I pick up Heath Shaw, who, is still quite a serviceable player. So
Not much. Pretty boring
not
trade.
much to it. Yeah.
But good on you guys. Now,
Big trade.
the big trade? The 4x4 one.
Yeah.
Plenty happening. So we've got Cade Simpson, Nat Fyfe, and Dustin Martin and Toby Green being traded to Jake Taylor for Marcus Bontempelli, Josh Dunkley, Lockie Weller, and Christian Petrarca. Now, on names alone, if you look at the names, Jake wins outright. But if you look at Supercoach stats, it's actually pretty even.
Yeah, it is. Like we've kind of talked about, Jake's kind of servicing those long-term needs. He's in that very much get me to finals. And
because Matt's desperate, a little bit desperate, puts up a terrible score and has all these star players out. He's going, what can I get for it? And Bontempelli is a fucking freak, and he's putting up some fair points lately. Lockie Weller, he's been doing defense mid. Those dual position players are pretty handy to have floating about. And Dunkley, forward mid, pretty handy. Petrarca hasn't been doing a heap, so
Petrarca's shit.
That's a bit of a,
They stink.
But,
and, you look at Fyfe out for probably a week, Martin out for a week now, and Toby Green, we still have no sort of sign
mate, that
of
guy
coming back or not.
who has no idea what's happening with him.
Cade Simpson is, just a service.
It's a bit of a risky move.
It is.
By Jake. I reckon he might cop a loss or two this week.
Yeah.
The next couple of weeks.
I hope I play him soon, but...
Yeah. I've already played him. God damn it. And the last trade, I'll tell you what.
Didn't make
Rory
a lot of
Laird and
friends.
Scott Pendlebury for Dylan Shield, Dom Sheed, and Brad Shepherd. There's a lot of people out
querying this
for Rory Laird. A lot of people.
I didn't even realise, and I went to Henrik's trying to get Rory Laird last night, so he didn't really budge there. I didn't realise he'd actually traded, but it's an interesting move from yourself. Pendlebury, is going to probably average 100. Laird, long run. Adelaide have a pretty easy run now, so don't know where he's kind of now sitting in that sort of back pocket role, but still accumulates it a little bit.
Look, Dylan Shield, he's averaging more than Pendlebury. He'll go alright. Dom Sheed is having the season of his life. He's good. And Brad Shepherd, I was looking at Shepherd. It was a bit. He's just solid. He hits it around between 80 and 90 every week. That's what you kind of want out of a defender.
Yeah,
a nice safe option. Laird wasn't hitting anything more than that, so
yet. But I think.
But I tell you what, because of this, a fair little debate got on our hands, and we're just going to call into someone. And we're going to discuss this.
We had allegations of, tampering with the league going on. So it'll be interesting to see if we can get a few thoughts about it. So we are going to give Kappa a ring. Just bear with us.
Let's put it on bloody FaceTime audio. I just want to call him.
We'll see what he's got to say. If he picks up.
Let's hope he picks up. If not, we'll call Jake.
Yeah.
Ahoy.
Ahoy.
Hello.
Welcome, Kappa, to the podcast.
Say hello.
I hope the audio's alright. Who's there? You got Nick and Angus?
Yeah, just the two of us today. Hopefully the audio will be alright. We got you right up to the speaker. Now we've decided to call you. I know all you want to do is talk about how good your team is, but we've done plenty of that for you, mate. All we've done is speak about your team. So all we want to talk to you about is run us through your little argument with Jake Taylor.
About the Rory Laird trade.
Yeah.
We want to know.
We want to know what you have been saying to Jake. What has been going on?
A lot of allegations were thrown out this week.
There was some allegations
thrown
out.
Being a dog and being
There's
shifty.
There's animosity there, and it stems from after week one. He was telling me he was trying to trade with Harry for Devon Smith, and once I knew that Devon Smith was on the trade table, I pounced and I cucked him, and I took Devon Smith from Harry. So there was some tension there from that, and then he obviously didn't know, but I've been trying to get Laird off you for a couple of weeks, and I don't know, he obviously came up between you two because he told me that he was trying to get Laird, and I don't think I mentioned that I was also trying to get Laird. So when you told him that, he thought I'd done the exact same thing again, and it came out of the blue to me because I didn't see it coming. He just posted in the group. He never said anything to me, and I was just like, "What the fuck? What have I done?" Then unraveled in the public eye.
Yeah, that one. I was trying to use you guys against you, and I didn't think it would turn public.
And I copped the hit for it.
It was hilarious, and then in the end, I just wanted to make a trade to kind of not to either of you two, just because it'd be a gag.
And then, in fairness,
you know how Dylan Shield had 4 offers? It was Carlton, Essendon, Hawthorn, and who else when he wanted to leave GWS?
Probably St Kilda or something.
Yeah, Saints. Yeah.
I think it was St Kilda, and Essendon offered him the lowest amount of money, but he ended up going there anyway.
Yeah.
That's sort of what you did with Rory Laird. You offered a trade by Hulk, Jake, me, and Hendrick, and you went for the lowest one, just to spite the rest of us.
That is fair.
In fairness,
coincidentally, you got Dylan Shield in the trade anyway, so you deserve it.
Well, it's the least threat to me. I didn't want to trade Laird to you or Jake and then lose to him in the finals.
Do you think teams are looking at like West Coast and Collingwood and being like, "Oh, we're not going to trade with you guys. You're already too close to a premiership"?
I know teams in the NFL definitely do it. They won't trade in divisions. They won't trade people in divisions. But I know we're not playing AFL. I just wanted to take the piss out of you guys, and it was hilarious to say the least.
It did stir the pot a little bit, so it was good to see a little bit of drama.
Have you made up?
Yes.
Yeah, I just think Jake's first, the first thing Jake did wrong was trust you. I don't think in Supercoach we should trust you at all, especially in draft. You're getting up to plenty in the background, and it's just keep your eye on one Nick Capomola, everyone. He's a bit shifty.
I wouldn't tell me what your plans are, but like in terms of trusting me to give you a fair deal in a trade, I'd be like, it's evident from what the trades I've given. Like I've given people fair trades. Like people look at them and go, "That's unfair." But it's because they're not big names. Like, no one knows who Zach Jones is or Wayne Miller, but they've come out and averaged 100. Like, I'm giving people fair trade. Like, I don't have people on my list that I don't think are good players, if that makes sense. Like, I'm trading people good players.
Nah, you're not wrong there, mate. It is funny to see how it's all panned out, but you're doing well.
One final question.
I've some bridges, though. Like, I have genuine animosity towards you and Hendrick right now.
One final question for you, Kappa. We saw, what was it, last week, you and Matt put up big money against each other for who was going to top score between the two of you.
Yeah.
There was an offer there that, when you guys play each other double or nothing, I think there was more money put on the line, and you two play each other this week. So
I don't think he's accepting it this week.
He's not.
Something tells me he knows he's not going to go double or nothing.
He has had a rough trot. We'll give him that.
We'll give him a day to respond before he leaves, and if he wants
Matt,
to,
listen to this on your way out to the airport and give us
the money up. Then he's more than welcome to.
The man's leaving the country tomorrow, so he knows that. Do you think it's a coincidence that he organised the trip the week we play? He's running away.
Very funny. All right, mate. We'll let you go. Catch you, mate.
I'll see you later.
So, yeah.
All right, that was a bit of fun.
Interesting to see what Jake fires back with there.
Yeah, we'll try and get Jake
There's
on.
always two sides to a
shortly.
story. So,
now, speaking of Kappa, he mentioned throughout the week about the finals system.
he did. I'll try and find those messages.
Top 8.
Yeah, he did.
He
say
believes. So right now, myself, Nick, Henrix, Harry, and Andy are out of the 8. So there's only 4 people missing out, which means you better make it into the top 8. Otherwise, you look like a bit of an idiot because there's what is it? 66% of players will make it into that finals.
Yeah,
system.
in a league of 12, there's obviously kind of just going to be those 4 that miss out.
How many wins do you reckon will get you in? So we've got.
I think we play 15 rounds.
We play 15
or something like that.
We play. We play.
We don't play them all because we skip the buys.
Here we go. We play 11 games. I think 4 games, 4 or 5 wins will get 5 wins. Will guarantee you. 4 wins, you kind of just be in it.
Oh, I think yeah. Based on Kappa's messages to me, I think he said that sort of anywhere between 6 and 8 will probably get you in.
6 and 8 will easily get you in.
Yeah, so it kind of depends where you finish.
8th place is going to be
top
4 wins to get you 8th place.
I would argue that, but I don't know how we should work out how many games we actually played, but
11.
Is it definitely? I don't know.
Yeah, it's 11.
So Kappa did send me his estimated odds to miss finals.
This is all Kappa does, all right? All he does is work out.
I'm not really interested in others. He just said Kappa $50, and then he said put $20 on me, and I'll tank the rest of the season, and we can split it. So interesting by Kappa if he's willing to, then if he's willing to throw a season even $50. Says a lot about a man, doesn't it?
Yeah, fucking hell. All right. Let's quickly punch through the fixtures of this week. I think we're getting on a bit. This is another long one. We're over half an hour already. So
it's all good. It's all good gas.
I gotta go to bed. I'm gonna go get up, watch Barcelona in the morning. Mm-hmm. Absolutely take Man U to town. Oh, I'm excited. So let's have a look at the fixtures for the next round. Now we'll quickly whip through these. Who we got first? Well, we kind of touched on it earlier.
Yeah, we did touch on that. That is
who's
Kappa
your daddy versus Kappa? I think due to the circumstances of who's your daddy's team situation, I'm going to put the money on Kappa. However, because of the trades he made, you don't really know.
Yeah, well, it'll be interesting to see, how those 4 guys that Matt brings in affects his team. You probably argue that you're going to be improving on that Dustin Martin 60 and 560 as well. So what his captain options look like now? I think they're rather
you got to put it on
thin.
the bond. You got to put it on the bond.
Yeah,
I'd assume
you would. Silly not to, but his back 3 is looking pretty good. I have been wanting Daniel Rich as well. So his back 3 is looking sturdy, and his midfield is looking decent. And then Mundy sort of fired up after 2 flat weeks for Matt. He was ready to get rid of him. But Mundy's fired back with 105 odd. So it'll be interesting to see now, with Fife probably missing this week, what Mundy is capable of.
Now, Mumford Sausages versus Aluka Island. This is another one of top v kind of bottom. Harry, I think he'll bounce back this week. I do think he'll bounce back. Whether it'll be enough to beat the Sossos, I'm not too sure. But I think if the bloody Aluka Island actually play some of the players they transferred in, like Taranto, bloody just play him.
Even Bruce sitting on his bench was a top 8 forward last year. So interesting to see there. Harry's thinking behind those two bench guys, and then Lysett had that 167 2 weeks ago, and then had a 45 last week. So you can't really expect that every week. And when I traded Michael Walters to Harry, I was knowing that he was probably going to at some stage explode for like 130 odd like he did last week, but then he's bound to have a 50 the next week. He's the most hot and cold player in the AFL, and
but I don't
can't
mind
stand
Harry
him.
going for glory,
absolutely.
going for the big games, the boom or bust. We love those players. They can win your weeks and they can lose your weeks.
And Tyler's team is it's a very 3-team dominant.
He's very
relying
on the Footscray, Sydney, Geelong.
Even.
He's got a lot of them in the same team. Lucky we're not playing the bye rounds because he would be cactus.
Yeah.
Whip through the next one. Jake Taylor versus Brown Cow Force. The battle of the D supporters.
Yeah.
Both
sitting 2-1, so big chance that one of these guys goes to probably sits second, third, and one kind of drops back a little bit.
This is shaping up to be one of the best games of the weekend. I'm looking at, and I'm very excited to see how this plays out. Actually, I think Jake will be hurt a bit, because he has dropped a few players. Bont out, Weller out, but he's got the captain on Caniglio. He'll come out and put up a good score.
Playing Geelong, it'll be interesting to see what the Cats do with him, whether they kind of have that run with role. But
is Rocky playing this week?
Not sure. I think he was concussed. I think he had a head knock last week, so it'll be interesting to see whether he can bounce back and what that addition of Ollie Wines to that midfield sort of does for him in a long term sort of focus. Both contested bulls. Be interesting to sort of see who gets more of it. But I think Rockcliffe has probably declared himself fit because he's got a bit of a potato head. So he's a bit like
concussions are they're a dangerous thing. Who was joking about him through the week?
Steve was a bit rough there.
Yeah, not happy about that, mate.
That was also drama that we probably was a bit too personal to touch on tonight.
Yeah, mate, it's cost me my career of footy.
But, you got a soccer career out of it, and you've scored a few goals there from what I've heard about
it.
So.
Fucking put it in the back of the net like you wouldn't believe. Even scored a header, which I'll tell you what, I was nervous about when I first started the sport.
Look, if a header knocks you out, then probably shouldn't be playing.
The ball's scared of me now.
Yeah.
All right, next game. Tipping them in versus Liam. This, according to the projected,
would be quite
there's
close.
6 points in it.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, fuck projected. You got no idea what's going to happen.
Yeah, you never do.
So it's a week-by-week format, so you never know. You could get one of the best scores of the week and still lose. And you just never know what's going to happen. But looking at his team, looking at both teams here, and it is really tough to pick.
Yeah, very much. And then selections-wise, you sort of look at what Nick does with, 2 really good weeks from Libba. Does he bring him in now that, he's traded Shield away, but he's also brought in Laird to sort of solidify that
he's traded
back
2
three.
mids away and brought in a defender and a mid.
Yeah.
You'd think Libba gets
a game.
Ahead of Redden. Yeah.
And then
so you
Smith.
put Libba in and Pendlebury. It's not a bad little...
Yeah. And then, you look at Liam's team and Kennedy is looking very much like he's going to score quite well. McRae probably going to score quite well. Ablett is always going to be hit and miss. Dalhouse is looking pretty good, and then Whitfield is his kind of top 5 players. They're all very high ceilings. So I think it'll be good to see how those two sort of get on. And then we look at
Gresham
Steve versus myself.
Ooh,
He does have a higher projected, so that's interesting.
All we got to do, we got to look at one thing.
Captaincy options.
Nah, who's Gresham playing? Hawthorn.
Yeah.
Now,
Hawthorn.
how do we think Gresham's going to go? Because his team is basically, how does Gresham go? And if Gresham goes well, he wins.
Yeah.
And that's what's been happening.
Yeah.
And Gresham's coming up against Hawthorn. That's a tough matchup.
And then, that for me is pretty big as well because I'm very reliant on those 3 kind of Hawthorn big guns.
Oh,
Jaeger, Gunston and Warple.
I wouldn't say they're the 3 Hawthorn big guns. I wouldn't put Warple in the category.
I think
of
this year
a
Warple's
big
looking
gun,
pretty good.
mate. You're delirious.
Gunston, I would definitely call a big gun of Hawthorn, and Jaeger, I would also definitely call a big gun of
I
Hawthorn.
would.
So 2
but
out of 3 is bad, and Warple's.
Are you still
going to
run around with the Hoff, or are you?
Well, I've brought in Mumford this week as that sort of ruck option, but I also look at it and you go, Westhoff's playing Richmond, so can he kick another bag of 6? Do I take a punt on him? It'll either win me or lose me a game, but sometimes you got to dream big to go big.
I'm excited to find out what you do.
Yeah, and then do I start? Side bottom probably starts for me now as well because Seb Ross is finally out of my team.
And the last matchup, and it is I Love Football versus Jill Killer. I tell you what, I'm going to be 2 in a row, baby.
Yeah, you'd like to think so.
2 in a row.
I think you kind of look at Andy at this point and say, yeah, it's a pretty free win. There's not really much to say. I was looking at his team to see if I could sort of trade for anyone, but nothing excited me.
I did as well, and I even sent him a message about someone, and he read it and no reply.
Yeah, he didn't want to trade me Polak last week, so that's fine. And then obviously your team, the
Dons.
Essendon starting 5. So Sard.
Who are we playing? We're playing Brizzy.
We are playing Brisbane, so Sard might see a lot of the ball. McGrath also will probably see a lot of the ball, and Bell Chambers will probably get dominated by Steph Martin.
Yeah, look, Bell Chambers hasn't been great for me. I've been looking and trying to suss out a few options maybe to change him on. Dylan Shield just looked incredible on Friday night. He just needs to get a little bit of a kicking going.
He's always a butcher though.
I tell you what, how good are my bloody waiver boys? Martin, fucking Jeremy Cameron, Kennedy I picked up for nothing. I'll tell you what.
You also gave me Taylor Adams for nothing, so that was nice.
Good on Taylor Adams for being injured.
Yeah, he came back pretty quickly, so I was pretty happy there. That was a good, nice little 100 to start the game. Start his Supercoach year off. So I think that wraps us up for the evening. Thanks for having me, Angus.
Oh, the old the double siren. It has been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us to your humble abode here.
No worries. I hope you enjoyed the environment. It's a nice little environment to be in.
It is.
We look forward to seeing the outcomes of Kappa and Jake. Whether they can kiss and make up or whether blood will be shed when they play each other.
I'm excited to hear Jake's response.
I am. Yes, I'm looking forward to seeing what he has to say.
And
for
the
himself.
Matt v Kappa battle, it's just taking it to another level. It's an exciting time to be a part of fantasy football. And now we'll sign off. I'll tell you what, this has been a long one, a good 40-something minute episode. After a nice Palmer and a glass of water, because I'm driving, I'm responsible. And we'll sign off. Good luck to everyone this week. See you
next week.
Catch up.